Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Barbara H. Smith Show. I am so delighted you're here and so excited for what I have for you tonight. Two guests in the medical profession. Have you ever thought about your body as a self-healing machine? Well, our first guest is going to talk to you about how to practically heal yourself. Oh my God, through therapy. And she is Dr. Shayla Krier, a licensed doctor of physical therapy, the owner of FIST, Practically Heal Yourself Therapy. She received her biology degree at Dillard University, New Orleans, Louisiana, and later her doctor of physical therapy in the University of St. Augustine. Guess what? Dr. Krier has created the Total Knee Knockout Program, a revolutionary knee rehabilitation program that significantly reduces the recovery time after knee replacements. And years ago, I love this, she got the calling to become a physical therapist. You know why? Because something traumatic happened in her life. And I want her to tell us all about it. Help me welcome to the show a physical therapist who helps heal yourself. That's Dr. Shayla Krier. Dr. Krier, come on up.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you? So good to see you and meet you finally.
Thank you.
Amazing. So
Thank you.
Tell us all about your practice. And, I want you to first start telling us about how FIST came to be.
Well, that's a very good question. So back in 2007, I was on my way home from work, and it was raining at night, and my vehicle hydroplaned and hit a tree on my side. And I sustained a broken neck, 5 broken ribs, and a broken pelvis in 4 places. My left leg was actually disconnected from my body to a certain extent. And I had to endure 3 surgeries and 15 consecutive months of physical therapy, 3 days a week, in order to be able to walk again, to sit up by myself, and to learn how to breathe again on my own. And from then up until this day, I live with no pain. I can do any and everything that I want to do. And it was through that experience that I received the calling to become a physical therapist and to help others, retain their mobility as well, or restore their mobility rather.
That's so amazing. And many times we have traumatic events in our life. It causes us to change trajectory. Now, changing trajectory, though, is not really a change, because I believe that we have a path that we're on. And when we get off the path, it's uncomfortable. So unfortunately, we have to be put back on the path. And I think that's what happened to you, Dr. Krier.
Yeah, it did. At one point I got so low, I couldn't understand, why that happened. I felt like my life was just starting, and all of a sudden, boom, in one night, I'm not even sure if I'm going to walk again, but through God's saving grace first and foremost, and my wonderful healthcare team, I regained my ability to move. And I have a desire not to share that with others all around the world, and let them know that you can do it. Getting hurt to that extent is not just physical, excuse me, it's mental, social, emotional, and to an extent spiritual, but you can get through it. I got through it, and I show people how to do that every day.
That's so wonderful. That's so wonderful. I want to welcome to the show Ella Carroll and Sheila Gullich, who is out there. I want you guys to make sure you ask questions of Dr. Krier if you have them. In the meantime, I have another question. So I know there are trials going on with medication, and you talked some to me about how these trials are conducted. Can you explain more about that?
Right. So usually with the new medicine that's being tested, there's 2 groups. And in one group, you have the group that actually takes the medication, and then you have the other group, which is known as the placebo group, that takes a a fake version of the medication. And what's interesting is, and when they get the results, you always have people who were in the placebo group, the group that took the fake version of the medicine. You have 1 to 2 people, or at least one person, who got the same results as the group that actually took the medicine. So that shows you, or proves that, the body does have the amazing ability to heal itself. You just have to direct it and show where to go. But our bodies were created wonderfully, and we do have the ability to heal ourselves.
And so that's what your company name is. The acronym.
Yeah, it comes from, yes, it comes from that. And I believe I did it for myself, and I show people how to do that, daily, and give them the strength and the power that's necessary to learn how to heal themselves and to go on and move forward with life. You don't want to be tied down based on your pain or based on a specific injury or something like that. You can actually free yourself from it.
So when you are doing physical therapy exercises with people, how do you get them to do what you need them to do if they don't understand what you want them to do, or if they are in pain?
Well, for one thing, I do teach about pain. A lot of times people don't really actually know what pain is. That's the difference between discomfort, pain, and suffering. And so once my patients are educated and they learn exactly what pain is, and they actually become aware of how it manifests and how it works, and once they're shown how to heal themselves, or the methods that are needed in order to heal themselves, they do great. And it doesn't take long at all.
That's wonderful. So you're in the office,
Mm-hmm.
and patients come to you, or do you go to the patients?
I actually go to the patients. My clinic is mobile. It is one of the only ones here where I practice in Florida, and I also do virtual visits online, and that's due to the request of people asking me, well, can you do it online or something like that? So I have quite a few patients whom I see live online, and but my in-person visits, I do see people in person. I take my clinic to them.
So I noticed you said you graduated in St. Augustine, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering, do you live in Florida?
I do. I live in Jacksonville, Florida.
What? You live in Jacksonville for real?
Yeah.
Okay. So my family's from Jacksonville, one of the largest cities, right, in Florida.
Yes, ma'am.
And what do you love about Jacksonville? Why are you still there?
I love the water. I love the water. I was born in July, and I absolutely love the water. I grew up fishing. I'm a little country girl. I grew up fishing and being outside in wide open spaces, and I just absolutely love it. The people are nice, and I love it.
Excuse me. I ended up going to Jacksonville University, actually.
Really? You went to J? Okay.
JU.
JU.
So tell me more about healing your body. I know that drinking plenty of water helps, but tell me about other ways, including drinking water, that can help us heal our bodies.
Well, for surely, proper exercise. And I know people don't like to hear that word, but exercise does not necessarily mean just going to a gym or anything like that. You can make exercise out of anything. And that's what I show people who are really not fans of the word exercise. You can do anything as long as you are doing something that requires you to move. You can make it exercise. And also following, you mentioned water. And speaking of that, if you don't mind, let me take a sip of my water here.
You said your water. What do you mean your water? Is it?
Yes, my very own water is called Dr. Alkaline.
Ah!
Yep, it is a naturally alkaline water. It's naturally
alkaline.
You can actually go to Walmart.com. We sell it in the Walmart marketplace. You can also check it out online at our website, www.dralkaline.com. But yeah, this is our water.
Dr. Greer created water?
Yes.
So talk to us about what alkaline water does. Before you do that, let me ask the question that one of our online visitors has asked.
Okay.
Shelia, my girl, She wants to know, just as chiropractic care, do you steer away from medicinal remedies in favor of more holistic view or a combination of approaches? Good question.
It depends on the case. I typically move towards the holistic approach because healing, it incorporates with medicine, it incorporates treating the whole person. And the way I was taught in physical therapy, you are taught to treat the cause. And in order to treat the cause, you have to look at all aspects of the issue that the person is having and find out where that cause is. And that does require taking a holistic approach in order to fix it.
Well, you know, a lot of people go to the doctor and whatever the doctor prescribes, that's what they take.
Right.
So I'm going to step on some toes when I say that, because I'm not on any medication and I'm not trying to be on any medication. Kimberly McLean out there says, yeah, she has her own water. Yeah, she told us, Kimberly, she got her own water and you can get it at Walmart. I'm talking about getting me some. Now, let's go back to the water. Talk to us about what's the difference between plain old Aquafina water and the alkaline water, and why should I care?
Okay, so with purified water, that's literally like just pond water, a tap water, and it's taken and it's stripped. And when you strip all of the properties out of the water, it becomes highly, highly unstable. And then they have to put chemicals in it in order to stabilize it and actually make it drinkable water. With alkaline water, or naturally alkaline water rather, the minerals and vitamins are already in it naturally because it comes from underground. It runs over what's called an aquifer, which is an underground rock bed. And that water, it sits for years. A lot of aquifers are at least 100 years old. So that water has been sitting and running over those mineral rocks, collecting all those minerals over all of that time. And then when it's extracted out of the ground, it doesn't need any additives or anything like that. And those same vitamins and minerals that have been collected in the water actually protect the water and work as a buffer in order to keep other contaminants out of it. So when it's extracted out of the ground, all you have to do is filter the dirt out of it, and it's highly nutritious. And those same natural vitamins and minerals, once they're consumed in our bodies, and once we consume them, it helps the body to naturally expel those toxins that are in our body, and that can collect and cause acidic diseases such as heart disease and arthritis and diabetes, and those things are considered acidic diseases. And alkaline, which is the opposite of that, it helps the body to expel those toxins naturally to ward off that disease.
Whoa. So all this time I'm thinking I'm doing something, drinking purified water, and I'm not doing it but drinking pond water. What? What you mean? What you talking about?
Well, if usually the sources are from a municipal source, and that's what that usually means. I mean, municipal source usually means tap water, pond water, lake water, but naturally alkaline water. And there's a difference. There's chemically alkaline, where the alkaline minerals are put in by man, but Dr. Alkaline is naturally alkaline, whereas it comes straight from nature. As a matter of fact, our slogan is prescribed by nature, because nature doesn't make mistakes. So
I love that. So how do we know? Okay, if we didn't have this conversation with you today and to discuss the difference in alkaline water, how do we know when we go to the store that we're buying pure, what'd you say, aquifer?
An aquifer, so it's not going to have that on the label. The water it comes from an aquifer. It's an underground aquifer, and that's just it's a rock bed. But there are some brands now. I know alkaline water is becoming more and more popular, so you can find a lot of brands that actually have alkaline on the label, and some will have naturally alkaline, and others will have purified alkaline or enhanced alkaline. And when you see those words, enhanced or purified, that simply means that the alkalinity or the alkaline or the minerals that were placed in it to make alkaline were placed by man instead of being all natural.
Now, when you're talking about alkaline water again, are there like degrees of like pH balance?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. So in science, we use what's called the pH scale. It is used to measure the acidity of a substance, and everything any type of liquid that you can think of has an acidity or alkalinity to it. The scale ranges from 0 to 14. Anything that scores below 7 is considered acidic, and anything that scores above 7 is considered to be alkaline. Our blood, actually, human blood, ranges from 7.3 to about 7.45 on the pH scale. So when we consume highly processed foods and drinks and liquids, those toxins from those foods accumulate in our blood and different things like that. So what alkaline water does, or following an alkaline diet, helps the body to release those toxins naturally to bring the pH of the blood back up to an alkaline state. Because when we consume highly processed foods that have those acidic toxins, and when they accumulate in the blood, those toxins lower the pH of the blood, and that opens the door for acidic diseases, like I mentioned before.
Now, I know that a lot of people may not suffer with arthritis, but would you mind explaining exactly what arthritis is and how many different forms there are?
Right. So arthritis is actually considered an effect. It means inflammation of the joint. It is basically just when the body has too many toxins in it. And like I was stating before, when toxins are filling up in the blood, it has to go somewhere. So toxins, the waste and stuff that collect in the joints, and that acidic bacteria, it breaks down the joint, destroying the cartilage and degenerating the bones. And that's what causes the pain and inflammation, because the bones are then rubbing against each other. And there are 3 different types of arthritis. You have osteoarthritis, which is the most common form. It deals with the bones rubbing against each other and having the degeneration. And then you have what's called rheumatoid arthritis, which usually affects the hands most commonly. That is a more severe form of arthritis, and that is characterized by the fingers changing shape, or changing what they call a deformity or whatnot. And then you have gout arthritis. Gout is another severe form of arthritis. It's characterized by an excess amount of uric acid in the blood, and that acid forms crystals, and those crystals form within the joint. So the bones are rubbing against those crystals, and it causes excruciating pain. It's usually characterized by pain in the big toe, and it can also be found in the knee.
Wow. I'm with Shelia Gullidge out here talking about I'm smarter than I was 10 minutes ago, just taking in all the information. Thanks, doctor, she said.
You're welcome. You're very welcome.
Shelia is my girl out there. Kimberly's my girl out there. Betty Corbin Copeland is out there. So here's another question from the audience. What's the difference in your bedside manner approach when you're doing mobile service? Is it different when someone's in their home, or than your facility?
Yes, it is. It is different. And that's another form of healing, that one-on-one, and actually having the time to focus and really listen to whatever the patient is going through. A lot of times people just need to really vent, because again, when it comes to treating the whole person, you're not so much just focusing on their one problem that they're having. You're trying to gather history and learn more about them so you can better help them. And that the bedside manner is a lot better, and the patient feels more comfortable because they're in a familiar environment. Because some people get uneasy going to a clinic, some people get uneasy going to a hospital, but home is home. And so building that rapport with them in an environment that they trust, it makes a huge difference in their healing time and the quality of care that they're receiving.
That is amazing. And so it's obvious that you care about your clients. It's obvious that you are looking forward to making sure that they are in the best place that they could be, especially if they're at home. So I'm stuck on this water, though. I'm stuck on this water. So if you're drinking alkaline water, could you essentially get rid of maybe some of the diseases that you have? Because since you said they're toxins,
Mm-hmm.
could you drink enough alkaline water to dissipate some of the toxins from your body and not have this pain?
Yes, I've had several of my patients to get off of their medications, and specifically their pain medications, because of drinking naturally alkaline water. And in a lot of cases, a lot of people have vitamin deficiencies. So because of the natural vitamins and minerals in the water, it fills that up. It takes care of that deficiency, and not all the time, but in a lot of cases, I've had several patients. They say I don't have to take any pain medications anymore because I don't hurt. It doesn't hurt. So, yeah, I've had some patients to completely get off of their prescription medications.
I am about to go out and get me some. I am getting ready to www.walmart.com and
Yes,
get
we
me.
are in the Walmart marketplace. And
Did I tell that? Did I tell that in advance?
yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
You are such a delight, Dr. Shayla Krier, and I
Thank
want to know more about how significantly this reduction, your invention, the total knee rehabilitation program. Talk to us more about that.
Right. So, as I mentioned before, with my accident, after having, 15 months of PT, I was still struggling, with, like standing in line at the grocery store, or even going up a flight of stairs. I noticed it felt different for me, and I was still having some difficulty getting it done. So, I did some research, and I was able to figure out, based on my studies in PT school, I was able to figure out, where, how, and why I was coming up short. And so I sat down and I developed my own exercises, my custom exercises that I designed myself. And what I did was I combined two different types of strengthening, and I incorporated balance, but I did it in a specific order based on what I know about the musculoskeletal system and how blood flows in the body. I designed in a certain order and put it together, and to my surprise, I achieved what I was trying to do in 15 months in 4 weeks. And so I was really astounded. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. I did it in 4 weeks. And so I did further research on it, and by this time I finished PT school and everything, and I was out practicing. And so I decided to test it on some of my patients and gather even more data. And to my surprise, they got the same results as I did. And so over the years, I've continued to research it and modify it as need be, and it continues to be a consistent success.
That is magnificent. I want to ask you about your communication skills now. Speaking and training and teaching is what I do. Okay. And so when you are trying to convey a technique, a strategy, a way to do something, how do you communicate, whether it's verbal or whatever? How do you communicate that to your patients?
Well, I do it by learning what it is that they want to do, or how they do things, and I based on what they tell me. I then apply the best strategy or technique for them. We all learn differently. I'm actually a visual learner myself, so you can tell me something all day, but until I actually see it, I'm not going to understand it. And so I've come across people who are what you call auditory learners. You can tell them and they get it. They don't have to see it. And then you have others who need to see that. So it actually depends on their history, how they receive information, how they best receive information. And I always make sure to give them a picture or describe a picture, because our mind works and learns off of pictures. So for instance, if you mention home, or someone asks you about your home, your house instantly pops into your mind, the picture of your home and how it looks and everything. So I always make sure to teach in pictures.
That's really, really good. And that's really what we all need to know, that we see visuals before we actually see words, right? And
Right.
So as I present on PowerPoint, and that such
Yes,
a
ma'am.
but I present in pictures and then very few words and fill it in for them to understand the concepts. Dr. Shayla Creer, you are a gem. I mean, you
Thank you.
have explained so many things that I have questions, and I'm not playing. I'm coming to get that water. I'm not playing with you.
Thank you. Please do. It is wonderful. I've gotten wonderful reviews, and I've gathered so much data on, the results, or the results people have gotten off of the water. A lot of people have lost weight. They, like I said before, they've gotten off their medications. They've done wonderful.
So I want to tell you that we have information about Dr. Creer. If you need to contact her, give a shout out, Dr. Creer, for where they can contact you.
You can contact me at my email address is Shayla. That's my first name. It is spelled CHAYLA.Creer, CREER at fistpt.com, PHYSTPT.com. You can also visit my website at www.fistpt.com. And you can also call me at 904-613-1195.
Okay. I am going to have to fire up the jet and get on down to Jacksonville to see you. So the next time I'm in town, I'm looking for you, Dr. Creer.
Yes, ma'am. Come on down.
Thank you for being such a marvelous guest. And you guys hang on, because we're going to come right back after this commercial break. Don't go nowhere.
Hi there. My name is Dr. Shayla Creer, and I am the owner of Fist Mobile Physical Therapy.
Fully rehabilitate at home with Fist. PT's Total Knee Knockout Program. Bring the clinic right into your home as Dr. Creer takes you through 12 effective physical therapy sessions that completely rehabilitate the knee safely, efficiently, and effectively. The program is structured with custom exercises to target the muscles necessary to promote healing and get you moving. Get the entire program for one low price.
And anyway, as a result of the accident, I had to have 3 surgeries and 15 months of physical therapy 3 days a week in order to be able to walk again, to sit up by myself, and to be able to breathe again on my own. As you can imagine, it was not easy, but due to God, first and foremost, and my wonderful healthcare team, I persevered and I pushed through. And I am not proud to say that it's been 13 years now, and I have no pain whatsoever. And I thank God that I'm able to share and pass that blessing on to you. So as you go through this rehab protocol, just know that it may not be easy, it may not be fun, but it will definitely be worth it. And I'm with you every step of the way. And I want you to know that if I can do it, you can do it. So let's go ahead and get started, guys.
So, hi, I'm Barbara H. Smith, known as the Masterful Presenter. If you could figure out a universal language, personality code that connects with potential client, how powerful would that be? I empower people to communicate better what they do, what they have, and what they bring to the table. People love to buy. I don't need you to sell it to me. I come in there with an intention, and that's what you're going to do going forward. You're going to go into networking events with intention.
I am here benefiting from the wisdom of Barbara Smith.
She gave so much information on how I can just excel in my business, and I'm taking it to a whole nother level.
I'm learning a lot that I didn't really know about my business.
The information that she's been presenting has been informative and helpful to me.
If you have not been in the presence of Ms. Holmes Smith, you need to make sure you do so. Her workshops are authentic. She comes with such training, and she just graces you with her presence, and she allows you to feel the experience like none other before.
Maybe we're back. Okay. Dr. Creer, you're back. What's going on?
Oh, nothing. Just take us another sip of water here.
That's
Make sure your throat is good.
That's awesome. So I guess that means me and you got another conversation going on.
I'm
Do
here.
we have any questions from the audience? We do not. So more about physical therapy and how you can help people. I know many of us can't get to Florida. So how would you suggest we get help from you?
Emailing, like I said, I do virtual visits. They can inquire about setting up sessions. I do live sessions, and I do teaching. So go to the website, www.fistpt.com, or send me an email, shoot me an email, and let me know what it is you're trying to do, and we'll start the process from there.
All right. Can you buy that water in North Carolina?
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
Come.
You go to Walmart. You have to go to, you can't get it from from a walk-in store and pick it up.
No, not yet. So our goal is to actually get it into stores in order so that people can go and pick it up. We're trying to get it into the Walmart actual physical stores, and we just met with the Fresh Market too as well to go nationwide and get it into stores so that people can actually go in and pick it up.
Okay. All right, Dr. Krier, we thank you so much for coming out today and being on the Barbara H. Smith Show.
Welcome.
I have had a blast. How about you?
I have had a wonderful time. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
You're so welcome. You've been enjoying Dr. Krier. Get on her Facebook group. Kimberly McLean is letting us know how to reach out to you. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Thank you. Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Have you ever taken the road less traveled? Do you know people who just bypass corporate America and start their own business? Well, the next guest is that one. One Love Periodic Services by Troy Veal is an assistant, provides assistance and resources for substance abuse, neurological disorders, and emotional and physical challenges through therapy and counseling. Mr. Veal epitomizes achievement and success through his contributions in civic and social justice to behavior and health initiatives. He's owned several businesses and still does, and nonprofit agencies in the state of North Carolina. Troy is a proud lifetime member of the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, and he is a distinguished gentleman. Troy Veal is recognized throughout the Charlotte metropolitan area, establishing the exclusive barbershop located in Salisbury, and co-founded You Mad? You Making a Difference, a nonprofit organization that helps with adolescents' drug-free program. He is the founder of One Love Community, a proven visionary, executes with precision, and is a pillar in the community. Help me welcome to the show a visionary, a man on a mission, Mr. Troy Veal. Welcome to the show, Mr. Veal.
How you doing, Ms. Smith?
I'm so excited to finally meet you.
Yeah, I heard so much about you.
Did you really? I hope it was good stuff and not.
It was all positive.
Okay, good. And Alexia, do you pronounce it Alexia?
Yeah, that's my oldest daughter, yes.
She said, yes, Dad. She got you on. She's got you out there. So it's a wonderful thing to have you on the show. You've got Eddie Surratt watching. You've got Kimberly McLean watching. You've got Betty Corbin, my girl, Betty Corbin Copeland is watching. And of course, your daughter is watching. So we're happy that so many people came out to talk to you. Tell me a little bit more about you, the man on a mission.
Well, thank you. Well, I have to start off by saying this. I grew up in a small town, actually in North Carolina, and it's considered the poorest county in North Carolina. And growing up there, I actually didn't know I was poor because my parents thought we were, or just made us feel like we had everything, and which we did. We had everything that we needed. So I thought I was rich, growing up. But actually, when I grew up, I found out that where we're from, was one of the poorest counties in North Carolina. And actually at that time, I think the average household income was about, $20,000 a year. And I didn't know that, but when my parents raised us, we had everything we needed and everything we wanted. So I'm from a small town in North Carolina. I grew up there, graduated high school there. And it just so happened, I got a scholarship to Livingstone College, which I appreciate and love so much. And it gave me vision about life, because where I come from and to go to school to get a scholarship, it was wonderful. And growing up back then, all I knew about was cotton fields, cornfields, and working on a farm. So my dad still farms at this time at 84 years old. He still gets out on his tractor right now and still get out there and farm. And that was something that I was not interested in doing. I wanted to be a farmer. I didn't want to be a hunter. I didn't want to be a fisherman. So my scapegoat was to play sports. And that's what we did growing up, played a lot of sports, and it landed me a scholarship.
That is so awesome and amazing. I want to shout out to all these people out here that are looking and watching for you, Patricia Dunlap, Ann Sherrill, Olivia Spivey Johnson, Jovita Demarian Parker, Vanessa Graham, all those folks. And we want to shout out to the Black farmers, everybody out there that feeds us, right?
Yeah.
So I want to talk to you a little bit more about your nonprofits, and tell me more about what you do in your nonprofits.
Well, actually, before I can talk about the nonprofit, I have to let you know about the other organization, because the nonprofit is a stem from the other organization, or the for-profit organization is a subsidiary. So actually what we have with One Love Periodic Services is a mental health agency in which we celebrated 22 years in business back in February. So, we've been doing the community events and community service for quite some time. So with OneLoveServices.com, that is the website, but the actual name is One Love Periodic Services. We've been providing therapy and counseling in group homes, residential care level 2 and 3, since 1998. So we started off working with kids who had disabilities, where they had ADHD, or they could have had schizophrenia, bipolarism, or just having some issues living at home. So basically we started off there doing residential group homes back in 1998, 99. And from there, we spent off doing other community things. And then that's when we opened a nonprofit as well to support the for-profit organization.
That's amazing. So you're also doing some testing that we pretty much need these days. Talk to us about that.
Oh, yes. So, the last 4 years, we moved in a different space in conjunction with doing mental health. We're still doing mental health services now. We still provide therapy. We prescribe medication. We do domestic violence. We do intensive in-home services, a lot of community services that we do in the community here in Charlotte and across the state of North Carolina. But 4 years ago, we got into the lab industry because we was working with some clients that had substance abuse issues. And from that standpoint, we started doing something called toxicology. And toxicology is nothing but a drug test, what they call it. And what that does is allows us to see what substance is in a person's system. And by working with those type of clients, we realized that they participate in illicits. And illicits are things that, illicit drugs are things that they shouldn't actually take. And from that perspective, there was something tragic that happened in my life that really changed my focus about toxicology as well as the lab industry. And that was my mom. My mom was, she was on 13 different medications and before she passed away. And she was a very vibrant lady, very vibrant. She was the life of the party. She always talked trash. She always, make sure everybody felt comfortable. And she always loved to have fun. But, prior to her passing, she started to deteriorate to some capacity. And now that I know, I think that, she was on multiple drugs. For every drug, there's a equal and opposite reaction, and there's side effects. And she started to be depressed, and she started taking a lot of drugs because the doctors were prescribing them to her. And she always followed what the doctor stated. Like, look, you know, if I got arthritis, I take this pill. If I have nerve problems, I take this pill. If I got a headache, I take this pill. And if she had knee problems, I had this pill, whatever. So all the medications that she were taking, you know, the doctors didn't talk to each other. So when they don't talk to each other, they just prescribing. And as you know, and everyone else knows, that when you take a medication, it has a side effect. So each medicine or medication that she was taking had one or more side effects. Imagine convoluting or mixing up 13 of them. So now you got 13, 26, 52, 104, 208. You got hundreds of side effects that could be possibly happening due to the, you know, connection of all the medication. So here she is, a very vibrant lady. And then she, you know, went for a turn because, you know, she started getting on these medications and she wasn't feeling well. And she actually went from, because she had just bought a new car, Miss Smith, not too long before she started getting sick. So I know she likes to show off. My mom was a show off, you know, she was a show off. She loved to have fun. She loved to have fun. She was a show off, but I love her to death, you know. So she was on these medications and she started to sit in the house and watch Steve Harvey all day and watch Young and Restless and God and Light. I mean, I know she liked those shows, but she also liked to get out the house. So I knew something was wrong because every time I go there, I said, Mom, you need to get out the house. And she never wanted to get out the house. She never wanted to get out the house. She never wanted to put on clothes because she thinks she can dress. She thought she was fly. Yeah, she thought she was. She thought she was fly.
Always fly. Don't get it twisted.
Oh yeah, I gotta get it twisted. So she always thought she was fly, and then, you know, she didn't want to get out the house, and she'd sit on the couch all day and watch TV, Steve Harvey or whatever shows that came on. She watched them all day. So I knew something was wrong, but I couldn't never get her excited about getting outside or to drive her new car. And so things went for a bad turn. And at some point, you know, she was cleaning and cooking. And then I knew something was up when she had my dad cooking and she had my dad cleaning. And I ain't never seen this guy cook or clean. I never seen him cook or clean. So, and then I just, like, the next time I go home, so now she's sitting in her bedroom all day because she didn't want to leave out the room. So she was in darkness. And all she would do was get up and go to the bathroom and go back to her bedroom. And then it got worse. And then we had to bring the bathroom to her bedroom. And then it got worse. Then she just started urinating on herself. So I knew it was for a turn then because she was a very clean lady. You know what I mean? You know, she was a very clean lady. And growing up, back in those days, we had to do a lot of bird baths, if you know about that, if you're familiar with bird baths. Because we didn't really use the shower back then. We used more so the tub or the sink to take baths. But however, my dad had to start feeding her every day. And I know she didn't like that because he ain't never feed her before. And then he had to bathe her all the time. You know, she was the type of lady, she wanted to bathe herself. So my dad had to brush her teeth and give her a bath all the time. And from my understanding, she told me he never gave her a bath when she was feeling good. So bring her a bath now, it was definitely a difference for her. So long story short, I just think that medicine kind of depressed her. And I think that the mixture of the medications caused an adverse drug reaction or severe drug reaction where it can depress you. And then when you look in the mirror, when you look at yourself, which I see you're a very well-kept woman. And after a while, if you look in the mirror and you're not looking like that anymore, you know, you're not looking like yourself. So therefore, I think that she started to get depressed. And she,
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and she couldn't feed herself. My dad was bathing her. And that's how I got into the lab industry, because I wanted to figure out if these drugs are mixing with each other, why don't we have a conversation about that? Why don't the doctors talk about what medication the other doctors prescribing to see if these medicines work together? And I think there was a major adverse drug reaction going on there.
And that's definitely one of the problems with taking all of that medication. I want to switch gears for a second and ask you something that everybody is thinking about these days, and that's COVID. Tell me about COVID testing and the vaccine, why we should, you know, there's all kinds of thought processes. I'm gonna tell you mine real quick. They don't know enough about this here disease.
Right.
They haven't done enough tests, in my opinion. but they want us to take the vaccine. I'm not so sure. So talk to us about that.
Well, I got into the COVID arena around about September or October last year. And we started doing a little testing. And when you start that, you start to do more research and to find out what's really going on. And as we started to test, and we found out that a lot of people in our community don't like to get tested. And as you found out over the years, over the months, that we are the one that's transferring this disease or virus the most, because we don't want to get tested. So by us not wanting to get tested, now we spreading it to everybody, and we are killing ourselves. We're the community that's killing ourselves the most because we are not educated. When I say educated, we don't want to know what's going on with us. We don't want anybody sticking anything in our nose. We don't want anything to happen to us. We don't really believe what's going on. We think that the government is behind this. It's all types of things that we think of as a people, as a community, about COVID. But COVID is real. It is real. So we started doing testing across the state in different cities, doing COVID tests. And the unique thing that we had, Ms. Smith, about doing COVID tests, and what people was afraid of, people was, when you first started out, they had the nasal swab, the swab that you swab up your nose and almost touch your eye, and to get the results back in 48 hours. People didn't like to get the nasal swab. So what we did was we got with some of our lab partners, and they had other ways to do the testing. And we found out there's another way to do the test, and that's through a mouth swab. And that's what we utilize now the most, the mouth swab, because it's less invasive, less intrusive, and it's a self-administered test, something you can do to yourself. You can put a swab in your mouth 10 or 15 times over here, 10 or 15 times over here, and then put it in a tube, which I have here as an example. And you put it in a tube and you send it to our lab, and we'll run the test and get you the results back in 14 days. So in terms of the COVID testing, it's still going on, and it's not going anywhere no time soon. And right now, with the vaccine, everything's going on, people think that you can't catch COVID, but you still can get COVID while you have the vaccine. That's kind of strange. So we here at our laboratory, we try to educate our people and let them know you still can get COVID-19, even though if you're vaccinated, even though the vaccination minimizes the risk, but you still can't catch it. And another important thing, Ms. Barbara Smith, is that kids now are catching the vaccine, catching the virus a little bit more than what you heard before, because it was so focused on grown folks. But kids been having it because they are asymptomatic, and they are the one that's transferring this virus more so than ever. Now you're starting to hear about kids having COVID-19 more, because the adults are getting vaccinated, and they're thinking now, well, how is this COVID spreading? It's in the kids. You can hang out with a kid all day, and they can have the virus, and they can spread it to you, and they'll never have any symptoms. So you got to be aware of it. And what we try to raise attention to, you should get tested often, because it don't cost anything. I know with us, we don't charge anything to get tested, and you should get tested on a regular basis. Here in my office, we get tested on a weekly basis. My team out in the community, anytime we do a community event, we getting tested. So testing is something we need to get used to, because it's a preventive measure. Just in case if you do have it, now you can protect your family members or your family and friends or whomever that you may come across. So I think testing is very vital today. And even though the test numbers are going down, and the reason why it's going down, because people are not testing as much. So the government is focusing more on the vaccine.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm getting ready to get controversial right here. So I know from talking to doctors that this vaccine or any vaccine takes years of trials, years of testing to come out. And they push this thing out, I think, less than a year. And so I feel like it's a car. You know what I mean? When a new car comes on the assembly line, I am not the first one going to buy this new car. So right. I'm not the first one jumping on this bandwagon. And I don't know what that's going to do. People might start turning different colors, maybe start like the neon signs and flashing. You laughing at me, but I'm so serious.
Right.
Help me understand why I need to do this vaccine and why I need it now. If I'm already taking all the precautions, the mask and washing my hands and staying away, social distancing and staying away from people, if I continue to get tested, I'm okay getting tested. I'm not okay with y'all sticking me not once, but twice. Just say, talk to me about that. Convince me, Doc. Mr. Troyville, convince me I need to do this.
Well, let me just start by saying this. I'm not vaccinated myself as of yet. A lot of my staff members are. I have a little reluctance about it right now because, it's not totally FDA approved. It's FDA recommended. So when it's FDA approved, that means it takes time to do the study to approve that this vaccine is actually what they want it to be. So by saying that, so it's not officially by the FDA approved yet. It's highly recommended. And it may be okay to take. It's just right now, I've just got some little reluctance about taking it. Not saying I won't never do it, but right now I just haven't been totally convinced because they change the story each and every day. There's new variants. You get the vaccine, and then this vaccine won't cover this variant. This vaccine won't cover that variant. So if you get the vaccine, then you hear the vaccine is going to last for 6 months. So I'm really, really unsure at this time about it myself. Now, I have some team members here, my doctors here at my laboratory. They are very convinced with Pfizer or Moderna or Johnson & Johnson. They all interested in getting the vaccine. But here, I've been very fortunate and blessed that I've been in the community doing thousands of COVID tests, and I haven't came across of it as of yet, knock on wood, and I don't plan on. But I do wear my coverings. I wear my mask, my PPE. I stay protected. I'm always got hand sanitizers. I'm always washing my hands. I'm just really a clean person, and I don't try to get too close to people. Not saying that I haven't. I'm sorry?
I said, I know that's right.
Yeah, so am I totally convinced? I recommend it. It's your choice, to do what you decide to do for you and your family. But me, myself, I'm just not totally convinced yet. And I know a lot of my sisters and brothers have got the vaccine. But just for educational purposes, I think that right now, on the next few months, we're going to stick with just doing the test regularly and just staying out the way, just staying out the way.
We've got a lot of people out here shouting you out, Brother Troyville. Where can we go to get the test if somebody's asking right now? Where can we go to get the test?
Well, in Charlotte, we have a location here in 4922 Albemarle Road, Charlotte, North Carolina. And we actually all over the state. We have, salesmen all over the state that's doing this in Bertie County, where I'm from. We also are in Durham County. We all over. So basically, we primarily like doing events and sites. So, location wise, we don't have a standardized location. Only one that we have is here in Charlotte, here in my office. But yes, definitely One Love Services here in Charlotte. Also, we have a site in Salisbury, North Carolina, where we could do testing as well. So you can stop by there. I can't remember the address exactly, but we could look that up. But yeah, we like to do churches. We like to do, businesses. And now we got contracts with schools to do testing in the schools. So basically, if your kid is going to school, they need to be tested on a regular basis because you never know. They come at home, they can give it to their parents or to their elderly grandparents or someone else in their family. So they need to be tested. And I think the government is really pushing them to get back in school. So if they're going to go back to school, Ms. Barbara, I think it's a good idea that they should test on a regular basis. And we need to add this into our daily routine, not just say sparingly, I'm going to get a test. It should be a part of our routine. Just like you brush your teeth, you need to do a COVID test.
I love that. Just like you brush your teeth. Got a lot of comments out here. So how do organizations partner with you to conduct testing? That's from Kimberly McLean.
Oh, that's very simple. They can just contact us or contact me, and we can set up a conference call. We could do a Google conference or Zoom, so we can explain in detail how it could benefit them. And we kind of cater to what they like and try to cater to their model. So we don't want to take them out the scope of what they normally do, but we want to fit in. So with schools and churches, we want to just coincide what they already have and just take a few minutes a day just to do the COVID test, because prevention is better. We want to make sure that we talk to the people, educate our staff, educate our teachers, educate the community about this particular virus that's going on. Education is the key. In our communities, minority communities, education is a problem because we don't want to hear it and we don't want to listen. But the education.
I'm listening.
Yes.
And I got a bunch of people out here listening. BB Jules says, educate yourself, then decide what's best for you and your family. Thank you, Miss Jules. I appreciate that because I've been getting a lot of flack.
Right.
You ain't getting the vaccine? No, ma'am. No, sir. Not right now. I'm gonna wait and see what y'all gonna do. So Eddie Surratt out there is asking, how can I arrange a testing site at my church? Excellent question.
Oh man, that's an awesome question. First, we're going to talk to the pastor because we got to get his blessings first. We can't go into the church without not talking to the pastor. So we got to get the pastor on board. We got to get him convinced and get him educated on what we do and how valuable COVID testing is to his community and his members. So we have to have a conversation with him first. And then after that, after having a conversation with him, trust me, I will talk to him and I will let him know what's going on in the community and probably in his community as well, that this is something we need to do, especially you want to get the members back in church. You want to get them back in church. You want them to come see you. You want to praise and you want to do all those things, but we got to get this thing under control. So just talking to the pastor and set up a Zoom meeting. We can come there, or we can, however they want to do it. We could talk about how it could be to their advantage to do the testing for their church members. Yeah. Oh man.
You want to give us one final? That was me. We have had a wonderful chat on this station.
Oh, okay. I couldn't hear you.
You on mute. I was just talking, and
yes.
you holding your ear. I was like, "He got an earache?" Or no. So, what I was saying is the high honors to Barbara H. Smith for excellent platform. Thank you so much, my brother, for being on the platform. Thank you, Mr. Veal, for being here and explaining so many wonderful concepts about testing COVID, how to get the vaccine, if you get the vaccine, and just being a pillar in the community, wanting to help the churches, wanting to help the schools. We need a coalition of churches to come together and find these people like you, Black-owned businesses that are doing COVID testing and vaccinations so that we can keep our money in our community. I'm loving this conversation. Alvin Splash Bush asked, can I get testing here at my job, Clinton College, during our new and returning students? I think you just got some more. I think you just got some more work. All right. Kimberly Holiday, thank you, Kimberly, for being out here. Why can't we go house to house like they do surveys, especially in the low income communities, to educate and vaccinate?
Well, yeah, that can happen. You know, we can go into communities, but, you know, we want to start at, you know, one community at a time. And I think a lot of times churches had a bigger platform. So starting with the churches and the schools and other nonprofits, that's a way that we can get the word out as well. And I think the TV or media, they're only showing what they want you to know. You know, they're not showing us the things that we need to know. So we have to educate ourselves. Each one teach one. So if you're talking to somebody or you have a meeting or something, this is something you can bring up because it's not going anywhere. COVID-19 is not going anywhere anytime soon. They're slowing it down or whatever, but I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. So the thing about it is education. So in the community, churches are the biggest thing that people adapt to. And I think it starts with those people. Getting in contact with the pastors, getting in contact with the superintendents, getting in contact with the Board of Education, because that's where it starts. Everybody goes to school and there's a Board of Education. A lot of people go to churches or mosque or whatever their religion is. They get their education from the pastor because that's who they believe in. They believe in someone that they look up to. So that's where we need to start. Because the TV, if you trust on the TV to educate us, that's not what's going to happen.
And that's not what's going to happen. Right now, Mr. Veal, you got any parting statements you want to say? We're almost out of time. Give us where we can reach you. Give us your parting shots because we got to be out of here.
We got to be out of here. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. And Ms. Barbara, I want to say thank you for giving me this platform to talk about what we do here in North Carolina. And we also can do COVID testing all across the country. So our website is oneloveservices.com. And my email address is tveal@oneloveservices.com. And you can contact us at 704-510-4286. or you can contact us on Instagram or contact us on Facebook. Right now I have a page, Troyville. That's my page right now on Facebook. But we're here to support anyone that has any questions, because I have a whole clinical team and I have a whole medical team and I have a whole team of people that believe in what we're doing and trying to get out into the community to teach them what's going on, what's right, and what we should be doing as a community.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you so much, Mr. Veal, for being on the Barbara H. Smith Show. We're looking forward to all the things you're doing in the community. And I'm going to say thank you again for being here and sharing time and space with me. That's all we have for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Great comments, great conversation. Come back and see us next week when we talk to authors, speakers, and teachers. Bye-bye for now. I'm Barbara H. Smith. Thank you for spending time and space with me.